Hello everyone, how's it going? It's been quite a while, I guess. The last time we streamed was on December 27th, if I am right. Hi Dido, hi Ava, I'm Yahweh, Gina, Ali, Starseed, Jackstar, Andromedon. It's good to see you all. It's always amazing because, I don't know, like, this whole journey and just being on YouTube, I'm not taking it for granted. For me, like, it's something I don't know, like, really enjoying doing every day more and more. Like seeing the community grow and having tons of people who are like-minded, who share their beliefs, and it's just amazing. It's just amazing to be here, to actually have a place where I can talk and be myself, and like, damn, someone actually likes that. So like, I don't know, like, it's always amazing, and I really appreciate that. So thank you all for tuning in, for being here with me, and I'm all yours. So if you have any questions, if you want to talk about certain things, let me know. And today I'm all up for answering questions, being here for you, helping out as much as possible, sharing any tips, tricks, and anything, talking about myself and what's going on in the world and all this stuff. So you direct where the attention goes, and I'm just going to follow and just try to give as much value as possible. That being said, how was your, I don't know, like, last 2 weeks? As I think it was 2 weeks now since we last streamed, and for me, it was like pretty good time actually. Starting this new year, I don't like take it like, oh, new year, new me. It's not like, no, every day is a new me. Every day I wake up, I have a new chance to do something better, to grow, to learn, and all this stuff. So I don't like wait for a specific moment for things to get better. I try to get things better myself, like right, like when I want to. And you know, like how people like, oh, like new year, I'm gonna start a new diet, I'm gonna start working out, I'm gonna do this and this and this. I'm like, yeah, right, I'm gonna start right now. Like, I don't need to wait. So with that, I've been working out and taking care of myself, spending more time with people I appreciate in my life, and like specifically family and friends and all the stuff. I've had some time playing games. Finally, like, I connected with my brother. We were playing Raft. Dado, I saw your message on Discord just before I started like streaming, and you have Raft, so we can definitely connect and play together. But yeah, it's just amazing. So I don't know. Cypher One Matrix saying, I want to interview you on my show. I'm up for it. Actually, like, it's been like, I think like the last time we talked in email, it's just like so much happened, like a lot of sessions, a lot of other things, and I didn't really had a day where, oh, like today, or like let's say on Tuesday or Wednesday I can do this and I have free time. It's like always like sort of on the go, like constantly doing something, and I never had a chance to sort of like, hey, let's connect at this time. Finally taking care of my schedule and other things, I can finally talk to people, which is good. I like that. So yeah, write me an email, we're setting it up. Probably next week. Let me know which day. I might be doing a session, but it's early in the morning, so we're gonna have plenty of time to sit down and talk together. And Cosmos United, it's good seeing you here. I still need to read your messages, but I'm looking forward because I wanted to do another session with you. And see how you're doing, catch up, and do some work together so that you could get better, or just to see you like having some progress and just doing better. That's really good. But yeah, I'm gonna go up and see, like, a lot of people are talking and saying something, so I need to sort of like start from the beginning and read one little bit at a time. But yeah, enjoying my tea and this awesome community, so thank you for being here. Just gonna take it slowly, just chill. Funny enough, like, I don't feel like this time is sort of weird. Like, I like usually, like, after a longer break, I sometimes have this weird feeling like, oh, I don't know, it just like feels weird talking or doing other stuff. Now it's more like, yeah, just coming back to my family, which is you people. So I was like, yeah, that's cool. And I have my Christmas lights still on because I'm not following rules and I just like it nice and bright, so it's cool. Anyway. Jakester is saying, "Hi Akvile, hope all is well. You should urge all Americans to watch Fireside Chat with Mr. Linwood. It's very important." Mr. Linwood, I was looking at his stuff on Parler, I think. But yeah, I can definitely, like, people who are from America, be sure to check out Mr. Linwood. Like, he has good stuff. I'm sort of, like, interested in, like, learning and, like, trying to understand how things are working, because, like, I'm not really sitting there every day looking at what's going on in America or the world. So, like, I don't spend most of my time just sort of, like, looking at, like, oh, this is there, this, that's, like, sort of, like, getting the whole picture. But from time to time, and specifically, like, today, like, oh, something interesting new happened, so I'm just gonna talk about this. And even then, like, I'm trying to look at, I don't know, like, different sources to get a better perspective. But, like, let's say today, even about the Pope, just one link, a conservative beaver, and even then, fact checkers caught up just like that. Like, okay, so, like, how much of that is true? No idea. And yeah, people are, like, asking, like, Linwood, is this real or is he giving false hopes? That's the thing, like, I don't know how much of the whole, like, QAnon community or the other people who are talking about what's going to happen, the plan, the possible events. I don't know how much of that is true. I haven't been following the community. I haven't researched the stuff. And, when I go there, I want to look sort of, is it happening? Did stuff that they talked about happen? And sort of like, I'm seeing just a little bit of it, but I still need to watch and learn and catch up and, like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. This is okay. But, like, right now, I'm like, I don't know, like, I hear a lot of talk. I want to see the proof or like stuff happening, and good luck finding it with the mainstream media blocking everything. So we'll see. Gina is asking, how can we talk to our subconscious mind when lucid dreaming to change our life addiction? I would say affirmations. Affirmations is one of the biggest things. Because, let's say, every single day, you're more like the writer. Every thought you have, everything you see, everything you're experiencing, you're writing it down. Now, the publisher, let's say it's a subconscious mind, or it's your consciousness, or, something else, whatever you want to call it. But basically, after, like, at the end of the day, that editor, or, like, is basically gonna review everything you talked about. And so while you're focusing, like, yeah, today sucks, and there's this happening, and there's that happening, and you might try to have some good thoughts, like, hey, I'm powerful, I'm good, I'm doing well, I'm making more, like, a lot of money, but then stuff happens, and then you get triggered, and then you have to take care of life and present time problems and a lot of other stuff, and eventually you go back into, like, today was okay, I wish it was like that, but the whole day you did a little bit of, yeah, stuff is good, and you're working on yourself, but the rest is whatever comes out. And so the writer, which is you're experiencing the day and you write down everything. It's kind of like Akashic Records. But now the publisher reviews your stuff and says, okay, a little bit of good stuff and a lot of bad stuff, or a lot of chaos and, like, attention span, like, like, just really short and all this stuff. So, like, it goes all over the place. And next day is what you get. A little bit of good and a lot of crap and, like, a lot of chaos and stuff like that. So it's kind of like, when people are trying to get out of body, or let's say become more aware, In the dream, you're starting with asking yourself a question: is this real? Am I dreaming? You start with practicing looking yourself in the mirror, so that in the dream you would trigger the event where you come and look at yourself in the mirror and actually, oh, it's happening. So basically, what you're learning is programming yourself. Programming yourself with, hey, I am powerful, I am communicative, I am no longer. But like even then, I would stop, or like I would try not to use any don'ts and no's. As in, like, I no longer smoke, I don't eat sugar anymore. Well, you're still saying you're doing this, and so like, you know, I'm drinking tons of water, I'm doing great every day, I'm working out, but you sort of like program yourself, or talk about all the good stuff without mentioning any no's and don'ts or whatever you're not doing or whatever you want to stop doing. You have to flip it into the positive, where what you want is actually the result, and it's out there without any negatives. And basically, you repeat it a lot every day. And you don't have to say it like 5,000 times in a row or something, or the whole day, like all day long, but just a little bit at a time. You talk about like, hey, I'm doing great, I'm powerful, or like I have great visuals, I can get out of body, and you sort of like talk about this to yourself in your mind out loud, whichever way you want. And then you're like, okay, you fall asleep. But now you wrote a lot, and the publisher reviews your material, and there was a lot of this one sentence, like this constant programming of like, I'm powerful, I'm healthy, I'm strong, I'm wealthy, da da da. You sort of like say whatever feels good for you, right? But in a positive way. Now the publisher reviews it, which is like your subconscious mind, and all of a sudden starts writing the scenarios or creating the scenarios of that happening. Which means your next morning, you're feeling better. Your next morning, you're actually, notice you have more dreams, you have more vivid like visuals and all the stuff. So whatever you want to change in your life is kind of like, notice like neurolinguistic programming, where you sort of repeat that stuff again and again, and you don't try to manifest it. You just talk. Because why not? Like, oh, today's great, what a nice weather. Well, if you talk like that, you can also say, I'm rich, I'm feeling great. This person loves me, and I love them, and our relationship is good, and all this stuff. And you just talk about it. But the thing is, subconscious mind is like, okay, a lot of good stuff, let's make it happen. And so you're not trying to manifest it, you're just talking about it. But in the end of the day, the publisher will work on it, on making it happen. So I would say, like, if you want to talk to your subconscious mind, like repeat certain phrases a lot, but make sure they're positive or they're empowering and it's good for you. Skip all the no's and don'ts. Just make sure like it's in the present time, like it's happening. Like I don't know, like I'm a good swimmer. I'm great at like talking in English. I'm great at enunciating or talking slower or whatever you want. Like whatever's best for you. So you choose those, and I think that would be one of the ways to do that. So yeah. Haley Winchester is saying, if a person makes a soul deal with the crossroads demon, then when the soul comes due, and it will be taken to hell by hellhounds, so it will that human soul turn into a demon after enduring torture in hell. Okay, so here's the thing. I think a lot, like, when it comes to going to hell or going to heaven or whatever's awaiting for us in the afterlife, a lot has to do with our beliefs. Like, we're getting programmed by society, we're reading things, we believe things ourselves, and our beliefs are creating our reality. So the way I view it, like, you don't necessarily have to agree. Like, for example, you might be religious, but live a life that empowers you. Live a life like, hey, you might be religious, you might believe in God, but you don't have to fear hell. You don't have to fear living a life that will, like, if you do something that like is going against the rules, you're gonna go to hell and you're gonna suffer. It doesn't have to be your reality. You can actually live an honest life. Maybe you do a few things that don't go by rules, but just because you believe, like, hey, I'm actually a good person, I have good intentions, I'm gonna go to heaven, or I'm gonna go to some great places. If you, whatever, like, you know, like, even if you meet any kind of demons or entities or like have soul conscious and all this stuff, you have the power to change your mind, to remove any agreements, to disagree with stuff, but you have the power to choose what you want to do with your life while you're alive and when you die. Even when you die, if your belief system is like, hey, I might believe in God, I might believe in like religion and have like my stuff like over there, but I'm actually empowering and I'm gonna go and have a free life and do whatever I want. You don't have to go to hell. Even if you encounter any like demons and they mess with you and all this stuff, it does not mean that you will be tortured and burn in hell all the time. Like I think a lot has to do with like believing that like, hey, I am weak, I can protect myself, they can do stuff to me. If you're not allowing any of those thoughts to like, hey, I am limitless. You can't hurt me. Like I'm just sort of powerful, so no. And that stuff alone is actually helping. So like I would say like a lot has to do with our belief system territory, and for me it works. A lot of other people who are like practicing, let's say, getting out of body, or even those that have died and like trying to communicate with the people over here, whether it is channeling, whether people have other technologies and all this stuff, reaching out, hey, it's your choice. Do you want to go to hell or do you want to have a good life? Your choice. You don't have to reincarnate, you don't have to burn in hell, you don't have to be tortured. You choose what to do. You don't have to meet any demons or like whatever bad realms you don't want to see. And you're free and you go wherever you want. So that's my take on this stuff. Yeah. Deciphering my experience is saying that he has quit coffee and now just drinks tea. Good for you, buddy. Good for you. Like, one level down, like, next shift is into just water, I guess. Depends what kind of tea you're drinking, though, because, like, my grandparents are sort of, like, just gathering herbs and sort of drying it out, and now you have natural stuff, so that's good. Oh, okay, so Gina has another question. How can we talk to the people that pass away? Would love to talk to my dad that passed away. Okay, so like there's like quite a few methods. If it's a person, even though like animal would work too, one of the things you can do is actually, let's say, you take a paper, you take a sheet of paper, and however it looks like, what you do is like you take the paper and you write them a letter or a message, like whatever you want to tell them in the words. You write down them a letter, and if you feel like it's safe for you to do, like as in like there's no one else in your house that would blame you, or you simply like, okay, everyone is asleep, I will leave the message and then in the morning I will put it in my like drawer or whatever. So like however it's good for you. But the main thing is like you take a paper and you write down your letter, like whatever you want to say, however you feel about this person, like, hey dad, I really missed you, I wish I would have told you this stuff, but here's what I think. And you just sort of like tell exactly and everything you want. Like you can write 5 letters, 10 letters, just like write down all your thoughts, whatever you want to say to that person, and then like basically leave it in the place that's actually visible. As in, like, I don't know, on a table, on like somewhere where that person actually would have seen if they were alive, like even on the bed or something. But basically once you're done, you call them like, hey dad, like I have your letter, so please come and read this. And so you go to sleep, and literally your dad in the actual shape can simply come and read everything that you wrote and understand it all, and then he can communicate to you whether you're gonna get the thoughts or whether you're gonna have dreams with him, like he can actually enter your dream space and appear with you, or pull you out of body, or actually invite you to his dream space, like dream space and all this stuff. So a lot of possibilities with just writing the letter. That being done, you can also call out like a sign, like, hey, please visit me, please give me a sign. So like whatever signs you're taking, like for example, like, oh, give me 2 birds if you're okay, and give me 1 bird if you're not, like whatever. And you see the sign, so you can sort of program yourself of how you're seeing stuff, but like it's not a must be. Like you don't have to ask for signs from the world or whatever. You simply like, okay, this is how I read things, how I understand things better, and that's like one of the ways. But another thing, you sort of just reach out to the person and simply ask them about things. Like ask them like, hey, are you safe? Are you doing okay? Or you give them a message like whatever you want, and they might appear in your dream and communicate to you. Or simply throughout the day, you might even go to school, you might drive to your work, you might be cooking dinner, you might be taking a bath or sitting on a pod. There's tons of variations of what you can do, but literally you talk to that person. The thing is, you don't need to see them face to face, you don't need to try to get out of body, you don't need to write them a message. You simply think about them. Like for example, I would like think about my cat. And I'm like, hi, buddy, I miss you, and I really love you, and I'm hoping you're having a fun time catching birds and fishes and just like having the time of your life. And that would be my message. Do I want to hear back from him? I'm pretty sure he's fine. But if I would, I would ask a question, and then depends on what kind of question it is, but literally, you can do whatever throughout the day, you ask them the question, and you're gonna get this thought or knowing this within. You literally might ask them, are you okay? And you're, doing something throughout your day, and you get this flow of just, peacefulness and sort of wow, I feel really good right now. Well, where does it come from? Is it just sort of you naturally out of the blue started feeling great, or it was actually that person or that being actually, hey, I'm fine. And they might be close to you and you're not feeling it, or they might be in another realm and they're sort of giving you their thoughts, their feeling states, and you connect to how they're doing. They're doing great, and sort of you start feeling great. So, sort of asking for things and then learning how to read the signs, learning how to sort of understand things. So whether you get the thought, whether you get the feeling state is another thing, but that's sort of paying attention and going slowly. But literally, you can simply think and sort of direct it hey, Dad, I want to reach out to you and here's what I have to say. And sort of basically you talk to him, you ask questions, or you simply direct your thoughts, and you open up communication with him. He's going to perceive it whatever he is, whatever he's doing, he literally will get this knowingness, or he might get telepathic, or literally thought out loud, where he can actually hear you. And with that, you connect, and then however else he might connect with you back, where he's gonna give you the thoughts back, sort of as in just natural knowingness or just emotions and all this stuff. It will be there. So lots of variations, but I don't it worked for me. For my cat, I was mainly one of the things I did was sort of connecting to all my other aspects. And so I sort of okay, my cat's gonna die, so every single part of me that I have in the whole multiverse, listen. And so I right now am speaking to every single part of me out there. And now they get the message hey, my cat is gonna cross over, make sure to guide him, make sure he's okay, give him a free choice of what he wants to do, and sort of be there to protect him and all this stuff. And so you connect to other aspects of yourself and where they are in the astral state, or your cat or the other being might appear in a specific world. There might be another part of you in that world, so they will come to that person and talk to them and all this stuff and help them out. So it's one of other ways to try out. The Rebels saying, did you all hear that Trump signed the Insurrection Act last night? Big stuff for US. Yeah, I was watching this video of a guy today, and then yeah, I've heard just today, so cool. So, I Am Yahweh has a question. Akvile, if pain and suffering is needed to learn and grow, can we feel pain and suffering without a physical body? Or do we need the body to suffer for our own growth? Well, here's a few things. One, I'm not viewing it as a must-be, because, for example, some people say, oh, it serves school, but you're supposed to experience starvation and suffering and all the other things to grow. Well, here's the thing. If the suffer to grow was a thing, literally, you could read, take one of those chemical cleaners in the house, read the labels and how bad it is for you. Don't drink it, don't touch it and all this stuff, it'll kill you. And you're yeah, but I don't believe you, I need to grow, I need to learn. And so you drink the, I don't know, Tide, eat the Tide Pods and all the stuff that some teenagers do nowadays, some weird stuff. But literally, you just sort of see how bad it is for you, and then you consume it because you need to grow. You don't believe, I don't learn from labels, that means nothing. I need to grow and experience the suffering so that I will understand that in the next life I don't need to drink that specific thing, but I will do it with tons of other products because, learning experience. And so literally, just jugging all the chemical stuff and seeing how that works for you. You just don't do that. Because why? Because you read a label, it's bad for you. Okay, I'm not gonna do it. That's clear. So, same thing, there is actually no need to suffer and experience pain and all the other things to grow. But If, for example, you create some sort of universe for yourself, you have your own realm, and you're like, I have to experience pain and suffering to grow because there's no other way, and you yourself create this reality where you actually need to experience it. You don't need to have the physical body to experience the pain and suffering, because it's more like, let's say, emotional or even on the soul level, where, for example, you might not even have a form. You might not have any physical shape or anything. You might be simply a point of view. But even then, you're going with this like chaotic like expressions, or like, you know, like all the other stuff that you might have experienced in the past, for example, might be triggered. But that's like not the thing. But literally, if it was a thing, you could literally experience the pain and suffering without having the physical body. That is not recommended though. Like there is no need to suffer to grow. Not at all. Danny is asking, can you elaborate on dead loved ones and other aspects of them being alive if they reincarnate? Okay, so if I understand your question correctly, for example, let's just view ourselves as a consciousness. You and I, we're simply consciousness, point of awareness, point of view. There is no physical body, there is no shape or form or anything. It's just point of awareness from how we experience things. From then we can sort of like, okay, I want to feel this, I want to experience that, I want to be. And with that, like, I am that I am, or whatever, you know, like, we start getting, like, for example, we choose to create a planet and we can form it any way you want. So you are the creator, you're the godlike being, you have all the powers for yourself, and you can like do absolutely everything out there in the multiverse, right? And with that, when you create, for example, a massive realm or a planet or whatever you want, any way you want to shape it, you're like, okay, so I just created this game world, now I want to play in it. But to play in it, I would like to probably have a body to actually sort of like experience it on a deeper level. So now, from a point of view, consciousness, you choose to come into the body to sort of be it and play the character in the game that you create, which is kind of like, you know, like spirit and then soul coming within the body. It's kind of like consciousness coming within the body, and now you're the creator. So you can play the game and you enjoy the character, and now you're done. But then there are times where, for example, consciousness is sort of like, okay, playing a game and learning and experiencing all the fun with this one lifetime, it takes a lot of time. It takes like a lot of attention on stuff. And I wonder if I could learn tons of things simultaneously really fast. And what we do with the consciousness, literally, you can have tons of points of view at the same time. And for example, just imagine like you're right now, like for example, like watching my stream and you're looking straight at me. But at the same time, if you're not on your phone, what you could do is, for example, I'm turning on the camera on my phone now, and what I would do is I'm looking at you, and I point my camera like this, you know, and I can have like a picture of myself and also of what's going on behind me. So like I would sort of like have this picture, like, and basically see two views at the same time. Well, imagine now if you are actually, I don't know, working in a job where you have like, you're just more like watching, like spectating cameras and what's going on, so you're like watching like a lot of these screens. But what if you have 10 screens, 100 screens, 1,000 screens, and you see like tons of little pictures of things happening all over the place? It's kind of like having thousands of point of like 1,000 different points of views or like points of awareness, and you can sort of like spectate everything simultaneously. You look at that, you look at that, you look at that. It's as if you're like working for some Chinese government, spectating people all over the like China and all this stuff, you know. So with that, our consciousness has an ability to have tons and multiple points of views simultaneously. As in, whatever you see right now is here, but then you can fantasize and sort of like, okay, my paradise island, I put myself on a beach. It's like a tropical island, really warm, sunny day, there's sun, like, oh, like it's sort of like, so right now you're sitting here talking or like sort of like listening to me, but you can visualize that island, you can visualize some other place. And now you're here, but your point of view is there as well because you're creating that place. At the same time, you can think about your parents' house, your best friend's house, the place you've been at that you really loved. And once you think about it, you literally for a moment can probably shift your focus and shift your attention and see that place perfectly. See that like that like, I don't know, the living room at your parents' place, or like, you know, like for me it's kind of like even like LAX airport or like some part of America, but you like literally can view parts like or places that you have been in. or been at, and basically you can shift your focus and attention and point of view to tons of places simultaneously because you're here, but you're also in that fantasy world. You're also thinking about this place you have been at some time, and now with all these places, your awareness, your consciousness shifts into tons of points of views. Now, what if every single point of view had a body? Boom, you're there. So literally, if we have this like thought, like we can actually have consciousness and parts of us living other lives simultaneously, and then we forget that, like, hey, I might have million bodies out there in the multiverse, whatever they're doing. Maybe there's another world, maybe they're in different astral realms. Like, just sort of like be open to the possibilities. And if that is the thing, then, for example, when we come here, we have amnesia. Whether it is sort of like made and forced upon us, or we actually feel like want it ourselves. Like some people, for example, you watch a movie and it's so good, like, damn, it's so good, I want to forget everything so that I could watch again and re-experience it. Like, I'm constantly seeing some of the comments, like, well, when it comes to anime or video games, where people love the experience so much that they would love to forget absolutely everything about it and redo it again because it was so freaking good. Well, if we have games and movies and TV shows and other like books and musics again, like we're like, damn, it's so freaking good, I love it, now I just want to delete it and try it again. If we have that happening, then considering like with that kind of experience, we have a past life that we have loved so much that we try to do it again and again and again and again and again and again and again. So basically, if we have thousands of lifetimes with one like past and the other past and sort of like repeating it, but then you're like, I'm done, and then you might actually, let's say, split to different points of views and experience things simultaneously, whether you're doing it for example, getting information or simple growth or understanding things or perception or other stuff, doesn't matter, but you do it, for example. And when you come here, it's just one part of you comes here on Earth. There are tons of other parts of you out there in the multiverse. So you live a life here and you meet other people. You have a family, you have your parents, you go to school, you go to work, you meet tons of other people, and consider that, like, if that stuff is going on with you, if you have tons of other aspects, then everyone you meet here has tons of other aspects because they're just like you. Consciousness within the body who can split and have tons of points of views. So now you have a loved one, and eventually they die. And you're like, I don't know, like it just feels not so good without them, what do I do? And you might be worried about them, for example, reincarnating, or you maybe are thinking, hey, well, what if there's actually another aspect of them? What if I'm the first one to die and they're staying here and I don't want to be without them? I don't want to force them to kill themselves, but I don't want to wait around Earth and stuff. So tons of possibilities, but it eventually goes into, you have tons of other aspects of yourself, they have tons of other aspects of yourself, and if your loved one, for example, chooses to reincarnate and you don't want to come back to Earth because you've had enough, you have a choice to find another aspect of the same being. They will look differently because, for example, they might be living in a different world, different physics, different agreements of how they perceive the world, different belief systems, but when they go there, it is the same consciousness. You look at the being, and just like some people have this like twin soul, soulmate connection or someone, you see someone and you feel like, I know this person from somewhere. You just sort of like feel this connection like never before. And as you connect with the person, or like you might not even have a conversation, but a simple look, and you feel this connection like never before. And boom, you're like, that's the one. So literally, the way you were acting around your parents or people you love, you know how it feels being around them. You know what they're like. And let's say if they die or they don't die, but you're going, you literally have the ability to find another aspect of absolutely anyone out there and find, like, literally, whether it is your parents, whether it is your loved one, whether it is the animal, you can find another aspect of someone else out there in the multiverse and have a life with them, if you want that. So there, I don't know, like, if that's what you were asking about, Danny, but elaborating on that loved ones and their aspects of them being alive, even if they're reincarnating, that would be, like, my point of view. So, yeah, there's that. So, like, I'm slowly scrolling down and seeing what other people are saying, and I'm gonna answer more questions, but hopefully this is useful. Andromeda is asking, hi Akvile, how can I make contact with my star people? I would start with define what they are like. You might not necessarily know how they look like, Maybe you do, which is great, but you might not. You might not necessarily know what's their name, but if you're calling yourself Andromeda, maybe you think that they're Andromedas as well. So like whichever way you want. But define, what is your star people like? What are they like? Like not just the looks, not just the name, but their behavior, their personality. Like be clear on who exactly you want to connect with. With that in mind, sort of like, okay, you finally defined what you want and what are you looking for. Literally, you can have a thought, like simply thinking, hey, I'm out here on Earth and I would love to connect with you. Like some people pray to God. Some people are looking for connections with the spirit guides and like, hey, please ancestors guide me. Hooga booga booga. And so you basically, you hear some aboriginal language that you don't understand, but with all that, jokes aside, which are pretty bad, you might have tons of spirit guides where they come from other places, or whether they're actually, like you're like a, I don't know, your family, people from the past you've met or something, they might be there. So literally the way you use your mind, your thoughts with, hey, I know who you are, and you define them, and you know specifically who you're talking with, and just talk to them. Say whatever you want. Now the next thing after you give the message is, how do you know that you receive any feedback? Are you gonna get it in your dream states when you're sleeping? How's your dream memory? Can you write it down? Do you know what's happening? Are they vivid? That's one of the things. Then the simple sort of like download of information, like you're literally sitting or doing whatever, and you just get this like vast knowingness, or like literally the answers of what you're asking for is coming from yourself, from other people. Like you ask like, hey, how do I do this? And like literally like another person comes and talks exactly about what you wanted. Like I had this like buddy who wanted to quit smoking, and the moment he wanted to quit smoking, literally another person like came from another room and says like, hey, have you ever thought about vaping? It's like sort of like slowly quitting like smoking into vaping and all this stuff. So this is one of the examples, but literally learn how to get the answer, whether it's going to be the thought here, whether you're going to hear it out loud, whether you're going to have a dream and sort of see the experience, or literally there will be other people giving you the answer, but you have to learn how to read it. So literally learn to communicate with specific beings that you define for yourself, and then learn to read the answers. That would be my answer to you. Oh, John West is saying a good thing. Use affirmations constantly. It can be as simple as 5 to 7 statements. Every time you think a negative, go to your affirmations. Is what I do. That's a really good one. Like if you have a negative thought, counter it with 5 or 7 positive thoughts. That's a good one, John. Well done. We have Haley Winchester saying, can a human soul turn into demon after going to hell? I would say a lot has to do with your belief system and what you want for yourself. For example, you go to hell, right? And you experience it whatever, like for some, hell is actually here on earth. For others, they like imagine it as in like, oh, it's all burning in fire. For others, it's actually like, hey, it's just like a really red room with tons of people who are naked for sex and all this stuff. Woo, let's have fun and all. So like depends how you see hell and how you're gonna experience it. But at the same time, you are the one making the decision of who you want to be. And whether you're getting sort of, let's say, programmed by other beings that you're weak, that you have to play this role and you agree with them, you're sort of giving your powers away and doing what other beings want you to do. But at the same time, you yourself are more like, hey, I'm consciousness. I chose to play a human being. I can experience hell without suffering. But then after that, you can literally just go like, okay, nah, I want to be someone else. So literally think of, I don't know, like a person, for example, like yourself. But now you find a career for yourself being an actor. So now your job is to play different roles for different movies. Think of the actor as a consciousness, and now every role he plays is literally a life he is incarnating to. So now as an actor, you're gonna play, for example, I don't know, just choose the actor you like, but you play in one movie and you play as a bad guy because you're good looking and you have like you're built for it and you have some skills, and boom, you play a bad guy. And so some people or some beings choose to incarnate and play a role of, let's say, reptilians or greys or AI or some other beings, and boom, you have a bad guy. But same actor, okay, movie's done, I'm done with the baddie role, I'm living my life and doing whatever I want. Next day, okay, I got a new contract, I'm gonna play a new movie, this time I'm playing a good guy who's gonna be a great lover, a great father, boom, 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 and you sort of like, now you have a different perception. So, now you're playing a good, loving father. This is like literally incarnating and like, oh, I'm gonna play a human who's like this. But when you're done with that life, you can like continue and choose whatever you want to do next. So it's more like you're the one who wants to choose what you want to do with your life. Whether you go to hell and you choose to become a demon, it's up to you. Maybe you don't want to be a demon, so you can be a human, you can be any other race you might have heard about. It's up to you, because consciousness, you are powerful, you're limitless, you can literally choose any life you want. And that'd be my answer. Like, you don't necessarily have to turn into a demon or like into some ghost or some entity and suffer and all this stuff. No. It's up to you. It's like, anyone who's programming you or saying that you're bad, that you can't do anything, that you're, weak and like powerless and all this stuff, it's all crap. I personally don't buy it, because I think as a being, every one of you can do absolutely everything. It's up to you how you define yourself and what you want out of your life, but the more you empower yourself, the better. So I would go with that. Empower yourself. It's up to you to choose what you want to live, how you want to live, who you want to be, and stay with that. At least I am. Evan CEO is asking, do you think Trump will still be a president? Hope so. He's like way better than Biden. I don't know, like from what I'm hearing, there's like a lot of theories. I would love to see it play out, but seems like, saying that the act yesterday and sort of like finally starting the arrests, if it's happening, like that might be a thing. But I've heard that some president was actually inaugurated in a plane, so who knows? But I would go for it. Like I would definitely love to see Trump instead of Biden. Much better. Will he become? Hope so, but I don't know. Andromeda is saying, Akvile, I'm in really pain both mentally and spiritually, and now every time I do an out-of-body experience, I get astral sex. How can I stop it? So one of the things is to sort of like locate who are you having sex with. Is it the same being all the time, or is it a different being? Is it a succubus, incubus, or some other entity? Are you being attacked, or is actually maybe you're some secret unpleased desires playing out over there? So literally depends. One of the things I would do, like really depends out there, but for example, think of, think of that every time you go into the astral, and if you get astral sex, but you don't want it, you're actually put in the construct and they're trying to rape you and make you suffer and all this stuff. So that would be basically, okay, if I get out of body and I'm experiencing astral sex and I don't like it and it's actually hurting and I don't want it, then sort of like visualize or do some more techniques, but literally removing that construct, removing the construct where you're actually getting abused, where it's actually going against your will and you don't want it, destroy that. If it's actually specific beings targeting you, I would even try to going and finding the whole hierarchy. Like one being that's messing with you, who's above them? Is there someone making them mess with you, or is there someone actually like, hey, like let's do the whole hierarchy? There's tons of groups, there's tons of different factions involved, and whoever. So I would go with that, like locate if there's any, for example, constructs holding you in there, or if there are any beings trying to harm you, and just taking care of those would be my starting point. The other part is looking at the physical. Are you actually satisfying yourself and you have some sort of like, okay, I take care of myself and I am like done, like maybe you masturbate, like, hey, all fun, cool, and you're done? Or is actually you're sort of like maybe trying to, I don't know, like hold off, like no, not November, what it's called. So some people are trying to hold off and literally, like, the body's like craving for stuff, and it's kind of like the body in itself is a different entity that you have to communicate with. Like your consciousness and the body, two separate things. And so the body might have cravings and affect what's going on in the astral body. So there's that. Look for astral body having some beings infesting you, so like any parasites, entities messing with you, all the stuff. Like Cosmos says, evoking some agreements, that'd be a thing as well. Like literally, like tons of possibilities. So it depends on what's happening for real, what's happening in your own life. Do you have any cravings? Do you have any fantasies? Are you taking care of those or not? And again, think of it in the way like if you fantasize about stuff, you're literally creating it. So you fantasize about some kinky stuff and you had fun for a while and that was cool and you're done. But at the same time, you just created those beings and they're alive. And now, literally, you get out of body and they're like, hey, daddy, or whoever you create in your life. And all of a sudden, they're coming to you, you know? So watch out for those. Or like, let's say, if you create, make sure you uncreate them, you unlock them. You sort of like, okay, that was fun, gone. You sort of like disperse all the stuff. So that would be a thing as well. Anya, who is asking, if I destroy the physical body through suicide, will I be trapped by humans in their collective negative judgments on suicide, or will I be free from the body? I would say, like, again, a lot has to do with your belief system territory. If you believe that other beings can limit you, like other people's thoughts and judgment can affect you and how you are and how you live, yeah, it will happen and they will limit you. But if you're like, no matter what other people think, no matter what's going on, I am the boss of my own life, whatever I want, I do, and so you choose to go, you go. So that would be my answer. No limitations, but literally you have to empower yourself. You have to believe that. So I'm sort of like considering everything as a belief system territory. Danny is also asking on a related subject, not trying to be negative, but when you die, can you avoid seeing your funeral and teleport somewhere else? Exactly. Yes, you can. It's a short answer. The thing is, when you die, you don't necessarily open your eyes and you're stuck to the body. There can be tons of ways how we die, and for example, a person commits suicide and jumps from a very tall building. There's a chance that throughout the jump, they are like, I don't want to. Like, so like they're focused on hitting and sort of like, oh, it's gonna hurt. But the fear and sort of like just the whole falling, literally physical body will fall and you're gonna start floating as a consciousness. So like it happened to a few people that have passed away, and I've met them in the astral world, like, you know, getting out of body and all this stuff. It is a variation. But even then, you don't have to be awake, you don't have to know what's going on in the world, you don't have to have specific beliefs. Literally, you can open your eyes and start your life, like, it's all void. It's all pitch black. But there's no negative thoughts, your possible illness or like old age or dementia or amnesia is not going to affect you, you're sort of free. So there's that. At the same time, you don't necessarily die and wake up and open your eyes like, oh, here's my physical body just laying there, and all the people are like trying to bear, oh my god, no. And so you don't have to see that, because literally you're like, oh, I'm free. And you can teleport, or even then you don't necessarily gonna wake up next to your body or within your body. You can be out there and sort of like open your eyes and you are in the world that you have created a long time ago. So that being said, if it worries you, like you don't want to see yourself in your funeral, you don't want to see people, you know, crying and like having all those tears and grief and all this stuff, literally, you can daydream, you can fantasize, you can imagine, and simply create your own realm. What would be that perfect place that you would like to go to after your physical body drops dead? And you just like visualize whether it is a small village, whether it is the fantasy world, whether it is something from the movie, game, anime you've seen, something you like, you can create that, sort of like think about it. But literally imagine, like in the game terms, there is like teleportation, right? So there's this spawning point, like where you're going to appear once your body dies. Well, if we can have that in a video game, you literally can program yourself that when my physical body drops dead, my consciousness is gonna appear over there. And for example, like I have like One Piece like posters over there, so literally I can be like, oh, I like One Piece, so when my physical body drops dead, I'm putting my anchoring point or my teleportation, like spawning location, into One Piece world, and now my physical body drops dead, and boom, I'm in this pirate place. So it's a variation, but literally, you don't have to watch the funeral, you don't have to watch people crying, you don't see them suffering. You literally, like what I'm saying right now, it does not mean that it will happen. It does not mean that you will wake up and see your physical body. You can literally wake up and be anywhere else besides the earth. So there's tons of variations of what can happen, and I would say like if you want to create a world for yourself and choose where you want to go, because you have the control over it. So that's my take on it. Rebel is asking, do people in the astral have to answer us or show up for us? Not really. Like, not necessarily. As in, you can talk to them, you can reach out, but literally you might have a parent that passed away, and they're like living in a new world. Like, I have a few clients, like, their parents passed away, and now their parent like literally is living in like right now like moved into the fourth dimension, having a life there, to the point where I'm coming to them in this world like in the astral, and like I'm like, hey, your daughter misses you, and she wants to talk to you. She's like, I don't care, I'm having fun right here, like come on, that place sucks. And so literally the parent who was so in love with the daughter, and they had such a great connection, the daughter was like devastated once the mother died, and literally next thing you know, we're doing a session and like the mother is like actually chilling and like about Earth, like she forgets it, so like she doesn't even want to connect to people here on Earth. She's having her own life, and it's kind of like, leave me alone, I want to have fun, I'm enjoying right now. So there's like a lot of variations. People don't have to answer us, people don't have to show up for us. You can make them, but the same way you don't like people making you do stuff, you know the consequences of people being disappointed or being aggravated and all this stuff, so be careful of it if you try that sort of stuff. But yeah, they don't have to. They have their own free will, and they choose if they want to respond to you or not, if they want to show up or not. So it's their choice as well. Danny is asking, how do you know if the loved one isn't a demon just tricking you? Well, one of the things I did for myself like a long time ago is basically imagine like how you have your energy shield, and you sort of like try the day like, okay, this energy shield will protect me from like bad energies, or like sort of like make sure like it's sort of shielded so people don't drain me, or like I see energized or whatever, right? So the same way, you're the creator. You can program anything. And literally for me, I program like, okay, there's gonna be specific radius around me, and wherever I am, if there is any being who wants to harm me, deceive me, who might be pretending to be someone else, literally you can program this whole thing with, hey, whenever someone gets close that's not good for you, they're gonna burn. They can teleport and they can be deflected and sort of like pushed back and all this stuff. Or literally now they get close to you and they're like trying to act like your loved one, like, hey honey, I missed you and all this stuff. And you get close to them, but that shielding energy will burn through their sort of, I don't know, like costume, so to speak, and all of a sudden you see who's there behind, behind the costume and all this stuff, behind the mask. So there's this, it's one of the ways. At the same time, I'm learning that, we ourselves are limiting how we think, like how we're experiencing things. And for example, like when I was doing sessions and I'm working on myself, with the soul contracts I learned, like, hey, be specific, one thing at a time. Like if you're addressing something, you have to like forget all the other clusters, you're minimizing things, and like you're staying like, okay, I'm very specific about what I know and what I want to address, and you stay with that. But at the same time, that I believe became kind of limiting, because now that when I started dealing with entities, when I started dealing with other beings, I became very specific. Delete and remove one thing at a time. Not necessarily, like literally, okay, you're focusing on someone draining you or messing with you, and now you can shift your mind into, I'm gonna delete all, like, or like destroy, or like remove, or change, or deflect, or like whatever you choose with all the entities, demons, and your organizations out there, any factions, any federations, and blah blah blah, and you name it, and you go as fast as you want, and no limits. And so it's up to you, like how broad do you want to go. So for example, when you're like, okay, is it the demon or not? And literally, you can like, for example, go chasing an entity, and you're going like, hey, it's just the vast blackness. There's nothing there. But literally, the entity turned into nothing there because it's like, you know it. Like your consciousness knows it, but you have to explain it to yourself logically and all this stuff. So it's a lot of times like everything is like plain and like like right in front of us, but we just don't notice it. So if you meet someone like, let's say, a loved one who like a demon who looks like a loved one, literally you have an intention: destroy the shielding, destroy the mask, reveal the true presence and all this stuff. But your command is like godlike power that's like boom, it's working. And so if it is actually a bad entity trying to pretend to be someone, but they're like actually like sort of like looking like your like loved one, you have an intention to sort of delete the mask or like show your true presence, and you will see right through them. So for me, it's more like giving a command, directing them at someone else, and boom, it's actually working. So that's something you can try doing if you feel like it. Okay, so we have MXQI asking, what is the white light energy? Is it the actual device source of energy, or is it the form of energy that drains? Um, White light energy. Well, if you're talking about, let's say, if it's the thing like once you pass away and you're seeing the white light, a lot of people see differently. Some people are like, oh, it's my escape, it's actually gonna power me up and all this stuff. Others are saying, hey, it's a trap. If you go there, you're gonna be sucked out, like it's a soul trap, it's gonna suck you back in, it's gonna make you reincarnate. So literally, there's a lot of like people saying different things, and I don't know, like I'm not gonna go there, I'm not gonna try it for myself because I have other things to do. But literally, depends how you feel about it. A lot of times these entities will actually try to give you love and make you feel comfortable, make you feel safe, like, hey, it's all good, peace and love, quiet, and all this stuff. But it's actually like their way, like they know that the bad guy would actually come and try to scare you and harm you, so they actually try to dress up and like, hi, loved one, how can I help you? And they're like trying to deceive you with love and good emotions. So pay attention to both. Pay attention to both and how you actually feel around those beings or the energies and different things. Like, do you feel drained? Do you feel empowered? Do you feel great? Or do you feel bad? So literally, if you encounter it, or like you just ask yourself, like, is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Is it draining me or empowering me? And like literally within yourself, each and every one of you, you have a lie detector. And the very first answer that comes in is your knowingness, your consciousness knows it all. So like you're asking any questions, you can find all the answers within each and every one of you. It's like I'm sort of like, yay, I tap into something cool, but I'm just touching the surface because I know nothing. But like, maybe I get the answer and all this stuff. So like same for you. If you have a question, like regarding the white light like that, like ask yourself, and what do you get? And that would be your thing. So try it out. Cosmos Night is also asking, like, Akvile, can you explain a bit how they can enter our dreams, how they're altering them? I keep having them inside saying he doesn't love me. How can I actually truly stop? So there's a few things. There are, for example, entities, a lot of them, lots of different variations. I probably can't name all of them right now, but like specifically some people have this crab or like octopus or spiral looking entity that's sort of like astral, that climbs on someone's face and or like face and just starts sucking your emotions and stuff. So for example, your physical body falls asleep, this being lands on your face and starts messing with you, like redirecting your dreams, connecting to you, seeing what you're seeing, and then in the dream they will put people, like affect them, and all of a sudden people will start saying stuff to you to trigger you. The events will happen that will be triggering and all this stuff. There's a lot of possibilities of what can happen, and that's just like some of these entities. Other beings out there in the multiverse, like for example in the astral, if it's a group that's targeting you, they will have, for example, their technologies, whether they're beaming you or they have their guns or whatever, literally beaming a signal, and now it's constantly like think of yourself as a receiver. So there's like this massive radio, and you tune into the station, and now you can sort of like receive, like, oh, okay, like I'm getting this, and now like, yeah, you're hearing something, seeing something. So same way, anyone out there can actually do a good work and mess with the signals and sort of focus and control on what you're receiving, and that might be the bad stuff. There's this. There's also entities who can like find your other bodies out there, like your other aspects, your astral clones or someone else, and at the same time they are messing with your astral bodies, for example, and now you're like experiencing things here in the physical life where like do you're like going through the day. Sometimes it's gonna be good, sometimes it's gonna be bad, but you're done with the day, you're gonna go to sleep, and the first thing you're getting is a nightmare or some unpleasant dreams where just like constant triggering traumas and other things like thrown at you, and it's like you wake up and like no, it's like not again, and you feel stirred up, you feel like bad, wrong, guilty, or like it's just like it's not helping, or like whatever. You might have those like some of negative thoughts, but the thing is like those dreams get hijacked because our astral bodies, or like whether they're clones or whether we have our other aspects, if they're captured, they are working like voodoo dolls. So if someone else is sort of like, let's say, captures another part of you either in the multiverse and starts messing with you by injecting bad dreams, then you'll be the one at the receiving end getting those. So there's that. Lots of ways to tune into that stuff. I even like noticed like a lot of this whole let's see, Hollywood stuff, like where we're watching movies or TV shows, is like very connected to the CIA and MK Ultra, where you're getting the good stuff and enjoying things, but at the same time, you're getting lots of flashes of the stuff that you're not really seeing or are aware of, and you wake up and like it's just like a lot of programming. So there's part of that. Past lives. Past lives is a big thing as well, because in the past life, let's say the person you love, you might have had an trauma with them where they have left you, where he has left you, where he doesn't love you, where you're betrayed, where he left someone else and you're just sort of like in pain. So there will be a lot of things played out. And some of these traumas can be triggered and they'll start repeating or like becoming more and more like just like open and in your space of awareness and all this stuff, and every day now is gonna be right there. So like one of the things is like trying to do past life regression, maybe going into the moment where that event happened, like where you seem like, okay, he doesn't love you, where was the part where he said he doesn't love you, where was the part where like how much did it hurt you, how did you feel, and just going through the incident and just sort of like releasing that emotional stuff and like finally it's gone. But that's just like one thing. But then you go into defining the very original, like the very first time he said he doesn't love you. And so you release that and you go through different things. So, like passive regression and looking at the incidents that have happened in the past, and you revoke some of the stuff, or like sort of like get it out of your space, and that might help as well. Other entities getting in your dream states, connecting to you, and all this stuff. There's so much. So yeah, a lot. Okay, so I'm just like slowly scrolling down through the other questions and seeing what I can give us an answer. Narendra Bisht is asking, do I believe in reincarnation? Yes, I do. I do, because there's a lot of people, and specifically, like in the remote viewing society, and in those who, like, let's say, are, I don't know, like doing channeling, or those with labels of indigo kid or whatever. Like, there are a lot of young kids who are like, hey, I have had a past life of this, and literally they find the location of their body, the information, they remember absolutely everything, and they tell their parents, and they can literally find the body. So like there's a lot of instances of like nowadays where kids and other people like remember their stuff, and literally they can locate the body, they can locate, if they have had life on Earth, they can tell all the information. And the kid, and just like, let's say 5-year-old, 6-year-old, they have not read that much stuff on the internet, they have not like experienced other stuff, and like, they're not making shit up. So there's a lot of evidence of people actually proving, hey, I've lived here before, and here is the evidence. So like there's a lot of that. And at the same time, if you learn how to get out of body or try astral projection, literally you can have all the answers for yourself. I don't know, like it's just like biggest thing for me, like when like you're getting out of body, is understanding like life a bit better. It's understanding that it's not so limited. It's not just like one state where, hey, it's just Earth. It's much more than that. So like for me, like that eye opener where like it's just like so much life there, and that it's realer than here. It's like much more out there than here. It's a big deal. But I can talk about it. I can be excited about it. I can like like explain how it all works and all this stuff. But if you had that experience yourself, you can tell the difference. Because there you can have all information, you can learn things, you can experience things, and it's gonna be different. So I think like it's something that a person might not really believe in, or sort of like yeah whatever Akvile is talking about. But when you get to experience this thing for yourself, it's a whole new deal. So yeah, I guess. Lioness of Gaia has a good question. In a place of duality, when we bring in light, does it also make new space available for darkness? And with our fear, ignorance of dark, it could leave dark for evil to mold. So here's my point of view. Like for example, in different realities, you can literally create a realm. Okay, there's gonna be like specific looks, and here are specific rules we're gonna have. No fighting, no politics, no currencies, and whatever you want to create, you create the perfection for yourself, and you have a community constantly growing, getting better, whatever, and that's cool. And that close off space can live in a perfect condition where there is no bad stuff, there is no killing. Like people are more like you have a farming game, or you have there's experience like, hey, I don't like fighting, I just like doing this and this and this, and you go there and you experience your whole life just that, and that's cool. It does not mean that if you have a good life, there has to be a bad one. If you have a good experience, there has to be something bad. So literally, you can have fun. In the realm of duality, you can create, for example, a good life for other people. Like you can create another realm, a place for like a sanctuary where people are safe, where everyone is doing good, tons of materials, everyone's taken care of. It's all good. But it does not mean necessarily that just by being good or creating the light, you will also create the darkness. It means that there is another being who comes into your space and maybe spectates you. Maybe it might be like someone close or someone unknown, and they like are looking at what you're doing, and they can decide like, hey, like an actor chooses what kind of role to play in the like actor chooses or gets the role for a movie. They play that, and then once they're done, they either get similar role because it was like, hey, it was good, you should play a bad guy again, or they get to play a good guy. But maybe they write the movie themselves and they get to be the star and they choose what they want to play out. So the same way we can sort of get a role we want, the same way beings decide what they want to do. And some people are like, hey, I like this place. This is perfect. And that same being who likes your place and actually wants to contribute and support your work, they might have been playing reptilian in the past life. They might have playing a mantis. They might have playing a killer and all this stuff. And all of a sudden, they're done with that life. They've had the experience. And all of a sudden, like, hey, this is cool. I like that. So literally, just because someone, for example, have had a lifetime of being some entity or some like reptilian or someone else, it does not mean necessarily that they will be the same being again. Like they're done with that life, and the character traits and the role they were playing stays with that, and they can move on and be someone new. But at the same time, another being can come in, and they were playing human, and they've been loving and peaceful and like it's all good, and they see your place and it's like, well, I've been a good boy for 5 billion years. I want to try something new. What would it be like if I did this and that and that? And the same being who's all loving and experienced all this peace and stuff wants something new, wants something entertaining, and all of a sudden decides to explode your planet. Okay, he does that. So it does not necessarily mean that by creating something of light or like goodness, you're creating the bad. It means that there are other beings who have a free will, and they make their choice of what to do with the experience that you're showing to them, whether how are they going to react to it, are they going to contribute, or are they going to actually change it up. Everyone has their own thoughts, and simply, you're trying to help a person in life, and it does not mean that by helping them there will be something bad happening, and it does not mean that it will be something good happening. Like the person who saved Hitler's life expected, like, hey, I did a great job, but then, oh, like, damn, it's a Hitler. It's like we have fascism and Nazis and all this stuff. Oh, I regret my stuff. He did not knew, and it was like not really necessarily his fault for like how it all ended up. So that's my point of view. Like it's more like you do not create good or bad. You're creating an experience, and someone else chooses how to act with it. So you can sort of like, hey, I like this and I'm going to contribute, or you can choose, I'm going to go and destroy because why not? I'm having fun. Different beings, different places. And duality, this does not necessarily matter because it's more like whatever beings decide, they will do. So that'd be my take on it. That is saying, sometimes I focus on a feeling or a place and I feel like I'm there or I feel it. How does this work? So for me, it's more like you might have experienced something like that before. You might have, you've been in the military, or you've been in certain places like sort of like near the sea and all this stuff. You might have like experienced something really good, and then a few years passes, however long, and you focus on it again. You're like, damn, I can feel the snow, I can feel the taste, I can hear it, and just sort of like shift your consciousness and re-experience it. So literally, while your physical body's there, you can recreate the experience or literally move into the alternate realm with your consciousness, because there's like plenty of realms and you can simply be in that moment again. So for me, it's more like consciousness shifting and just re-experiencing it again. So yeah, that's my take on it. MSB is asking, sorry if this is a repeat question. Has anyone heard about President Trump using the emergency broadcast system? I'll scroll up just in case. I have like read about it. Like I'm using Parler and MeWe.com. There's a lot of people and communities like talking about this stuff. One thing that's going on, or like that I've read about, is like for the apples specifically, they're saying do not do not accept the update and like change your settings, because Apple can literally give you the update that will disable the broadcasting and you will not be able to receive the message. So it's kind of like make sure you're staying where you are so no one would mess up and there will be like a message. Will it be there or not? I don't know. But there are like some of the things I've read, like people saying like, hey, expect it is gonna happen. Just be ready for it. So who knows? But like there's a lot of like censorship going on. Like they're afraid of what he has to say, like Trump, because it's funny. Like last messages were about like love and peace and all this stuff. Like he does not necessarily might seem like a great person for some and all. Like some people like, yeah, Trump is like this and all this stuff. So, like we might have different perspectives of who he is as a person, but it does not necessarily mean that we know it all. And what I'm seeing, I'm just seeing the surface. Like whoever has those plans for Trump and what's gonna happen, I don't know about it at all. And they have their own business. Well, will it happen? I don't know, but we'll see. I'm Yahweh saying, Akvile, you said that we can't change our physical body here on Earth because of collective agreements. Can we separate ourselves from those collective agreements, or are we bound by them forever on Earth? I say yes, we can. Yes, we can separate them. And I think like the biggest example or proof is people who have attended Joe Dispenza's workshops and have changed their lives. Some of them have been disabled, or let's say they can't move their legs for 25 years. For 35 years they spent in a wheelchair, and they attend the workshop for a week, and by changing their thoughts on how they perceive life and who they are, literally they change the whole perspective. They disconnect from the system, from everything they have ever believed, and now they create a new version of themselves. And after a week, after 25 years of spending their life in a wheelchair, they literally stand up. They stand up and start walking, and it's not like they took to do it's like all easy, but all of a sudden the person who was stuck there and couldn't move his legs, boom, it's up there. So I would suggest, if you're looking at that, if you're looking how to sort of disconnect from the collective agreements, check out Joe Dispenza. I myself have tried it a little bit, and more like when I was a kid, I tried it naturally, like it just felt something good to do, and it happened, and my life worked out, and like I got like a few of my dreams come true just like that, which is amazing. So obviously, like, like, check out this stuff because you might get a nice mindset of how to have it happen for you as well. Andy, hi. By the way, there was this person who donated to me. John, thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, so like I'm slowly scrolling down and seeing if I can answer anything. Okay, so like I'm just taking my time looking at what people are saying. Some are talking about the settings on their Apple phones, so that like they would not get the recent updates that would block their messages and all this stuff. Luigi Moore is asking, "Hi Akvile, how are you? My question for today is, what are your thoughts about Jupiter and Saturn conjugation? Do you think the Golden Age will come back, or will we awake, or nothing will change?" So, for me, I see our life and everything that is happening more like as a journey, not like an event. And it's more like I am not looking into things where there's gonna be an event and everything changes. There's gonna be a certain date, and after that, our life is different. Where it was December 21 for some, or December 23rd, or like so for some it's New Year. Oh, New Year is gonna be a new me, and we keep waiting for something to happen so that we could change. I'm done with that. I've lived it when I was a kid, and I didn't like it because like, yo, I have to wait for New Year to start over. No, 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 no. You can start over today. So for me, I don't know much about Jupiter and Saturn conjugation, but the way I'm living for myself is it doesn't matter what happens out there in space or around the people, I am controlling my own life. And first, I'm going to take care of myself. How I feel, how am I growing, being the best version of myself, and then when I take care of myself, I want to share the message. I want to like, hey, if I can be there to empower you, if I can tell you how powerful you are, how amazing you are, that you should not give up, that you should keep going, that you can achieve your dreams, that everything you want is true and you can do it. If I can do that, I will. And the thing is, like, it's not a lie. It's not like, kissing ass or like trying to please people. No, it's like, I've been through stuff, and I've been like a lot of ups and downs and just learning how life works, and I've made it. I made it for myself where I have such an amazing community over here who joins me, and I feel so freaking grateful. I feel so grateful that there are people who actually care, who tune in, who want to talk to me, who want to ask questions, and I'm literally getting tears in my eyes because I appreciate you. Because it means a lot to me. Because I actually like, I was a kid who could not talk out loud, who could not talk to people, who was like frozen, and anyone asks me a question and I'm like, oh, what do I say? Just answer as fast as possible and I'm done. And now it's like, wow, there's actually people who care and support me, and I can be myself. It's just awesome. And so I achieved a lot for myself in this life, and I want to do it for others. And there's no need to wait for the grand awakening or some grand events or something else happening, because start from yourself. Like, hey, work on yourself, make sure that every day you at least feel better. It might not be perfect. Far from that, you might not get your dreams come true. You might get triggered. You might get a lot of ups and downs, and it feels like, hey, you worked great, but then you get tons of triggers and people saying stuff. But it's more like, take care of yourself. Try to not just survive, but live, but just to sort of like get better and all this stuff. And after that, lead by example. Like I'm not perfect. Far from that. I don't know it all at all. And for me, like, if there is something I can talk about and someone actually, like, yeah, it rings a bell, and some of you can relate to what I'm saying, some of you get somewhere. Literally just a few days ago, someone said I've saved their life, and it means a lot to me to believe that I actually did something that saved someone. It's so much for me. So like, I'm starting with one person at a time. It's like, I really liked that Gary Vaynerchuk quote, or like when I was watching his videos. He's talking about people growing their channels or like their communities, and everyone's dreaming about it, like having 1 million, having like so many people, and all the like, like, hey, all the money's coming in. But it's like, fuck that. Like, start with 100. Start with talking to the first few people who are there from the very beginning, and that's where I am right now. John West, Starseed, Cosmos, and tons of other people have been here with me from the very beginning. From the very days where my channel was just the very first video, and I'm all shaking and I'm talking all over the place and I'm not making sense and my English is crap and I'm all over myself. Like, I don't know, there was like tons of bad things that happened, but there were so many people supporting me, and I know you, and that means a lot to me. So it's not like making it big or like trying to change millions all of a sudden. No, fuck the Great Awakening, fuck all the just don't. Start with one little bit at a time, like start with yourself. And I'm getting better, and this is cool. And if I can do something for each and every one of you, a little bit at a time, I'm up for that. Like, so whether it is answering your questions, whether it is making some videos that maybe one of those messages will click, maybe one of those tips or something I say will be there to sort of like, hey, I actually used it and it worked. If that is a thing, it just makes my day, and that's all I care about. So like, I'm focusing on one little thing at a time. Just go for that. Like, the big goal, yeah, I have it. Maybe I dream about like the 1 million would be cool. But until then, every single one of you who's here right now is freaking important. And when I make it, I will be thinking about you, because if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be there. If it wasn't for your support and all the messages and all the stuff, it's a thing. So, when it comes to Jupiter and Saturn conjuration and all those big events, I'm not looking at it. I'm like, it's there, it's happening, I don't care. Like, I'm just focused on my own little space, and I'm making it work. Like, recently I've talked to my grandparents, and they were all into believing about Corona and all the other stuff, and it took one nice long conversation on the phone, and they're like, hey, actually I believe that I don't have to die, I don't have to live in fear, I can actually take care of myself. And that just the shift of their like sort of perspective, like, hey, you don't have to die, you don't have to like live in pain and all this stuff. Like, come on, you can like live your life the way you want. And to see the whole perspective change, just close people, that's done. And again, it's more like, I believe that we can change this massive, like, we can create this massive chain, like a domino effect. Maybe I say something that like impacts your life, and like, hey, you might feel better, you might feel empowered, and then someone else will get similar mindset, like, hey, I can empower people as well, I can do something like it. And people will share messages, and like one after another, and we're gonna create this massive chain that like actually impacts others. So for me, it's more like, take care of yourself. The massive awakening, the golden age, I don't know, like, I'm not going for it. I'm going one little bit at a time. So like, if it happens, it's great. But right now I'm focused on myself, and if I can help any one of you right now, that's where I am. I'm not looking at the millions awakening. It's like, it will be great. I can dream about it. I can focus on the end goal and how great it feels. But to get there one little bit at a time, the journey is right ahead. So that would be my answer, Luigi. Like, sorry if I don't say exactly what you expected, but I'm just in a very different place, I guess. My teeth are getting cold. No. Black Monk Carmel is asking, what would happen to planet Earth if everybody was to drop dead? There we go. That's an interesting thought. Um, from the very first thing that pops into my head, I guess a lot of people, let's say, once the physical body drops dead, they would have the freedom to choose and go wherever they want. And some will be like, hey, Earth is my place, I want to go back, or they might think that Earth is the only place, so they will go back naturally. But others, like millions and billions of people, can actually just find some other place under the multiverse. Depends on their belief system, but I believe that a lot of would not have that many people coming back actually. What do you think, people? What would happen if everyone would drop dead and just what happens then? And we're talking I'm talking more about the spiritual aspect. Like they're like I don't know, like documentaries and stuff, type of movies. Like if humans were ceased to exist, what would happen? And then you have all the technology and things going sideways, and then the world without humans, what happens? Oh, Max Arvel is saying DuckDuckGo is censoring the results for empty hospitals. I exposed them in a video, and I've been banned from YouTube and Discord, and banned they banned my IP so I could create a new account. Okay. Wow. Yeah. I totally believe that. I totally believe that because Google is freaking bad. DuckDuckGo, they pitched it as it's all privacy and secure and all this stuff, but just like you, Max, I found a few places where like they don't really necessarily show all the results, or like don't show you what you want to find. It's kind of you like on DuckDuckGo you look up something like with Satanists and they give you QAnon and like Trump community, like really. So like there's like a lot of like varieties, but Max Arvel, I'm gonna check out your channel. Like let's see. Can I find you? Users. I'll have to check out your user and all that. But if anything, like send me your account so I can check out your videos or promote you. Because like if I like look at like Max Orwell, there's just tons of George Orwell actually. So maybe next time. But yeah. Let's see. DuckDuckGo. Nah, not showing. But I totally believe you. Censoring is all the way. Cosmos Knight is asking, can we make someone love us regardless of their free will? My answer is yes, but here's the thing. For example, two variations. You love a person, they don't love you back. And there's one reality where nothing happens because you're trying, and no matter how much you're trying, nothing happens because they're like, nah, I'm just not going for it, I have no feelings for you, and they go their own way. But at the same time, you can sort of like, hey, I love you, and then you start creating a different reality where in one reality they say no and they have no feelings for you, in the other reality you choose for their other aspects, different realm, and now you're tuning into the aspect that does have a feeling for you, that does have an ability to actually, hey, they actually would go for that. So I would say it's not like breaking their free will, it's just like tuning into the different aspects. For example, think of a tree and how it branches out like from one like roots and all this stuff into tons of branches and leaves and all this stuff. So same way we are creating our realities, and while in one you might be rejected, while in the other things might not happen, while in the other you might get together and then things fail, but you eventually sort of like, no, I'm gonna choose reality where, and you create your own circumstances and how it's gonna go, and you are the boss of everything, and you manifest the love life you want. So it's not like breaking the free will. There's tons of realities, tons of variations of what can happen, and you choose to plug into the one that fits you the best. So I would say you stay in control, and from all the possibilities, you choose the one where things work out the way you want it. And, the being themselves will have their free will, and they will choose to be with you, because in that reality, they have feelings for you. So it's more like tuning into the perfect reality, or the one that like actually is working out the way you want it to be. And Veras from Mars is saying Trump is no better than Biden. I hear ya. I hear ya. Like, I've seen people talking about him being connected to Epstein and that he was a pedophile himself. How true is that? I don't know. But, you know, like, then you basically look at the whole aspect of, like, hey, no matter what you look at, it's just different, I don't know, like, groups, different facilities, different factions playing the game the way they want it. And, you know, it's more like no matter what we do, they have their own game they're playing, and some might deem like a little bit better, but in the end they have same results into like, nah, we don't care about you, we have our own plans. I believe this is like also like true. So, you know, different ways we look at things. Like, you know, like I would like sort of go isn't into reality of free speech and like basically being free. That's what I would go for. How should we say? Like, I always like I'm looking for like there's a lot of theories of what's going on, a lot of opinions. I'm looking for like, okay, give me evidence and a lot of it. So, you know, when I'm talking in my videos, I'm trying to make it clear that like, hey, what I'm showing to you, I have no true evidence. Like, here's an article that I've read, you can read it too. I'm trying to find the others of it, like something similar, different sources, and that's cool. But I haven't been there myself. I haven't seen it. It's not the first-hand experience, so I in no means I can say that this is the thing. It's more like from people I've looked at, from the sources we've gotten all this stuff. Here's the perspective I have. Is it true? I don't know. And I'm just sort of like just point of view, the aspect, and just trying to find as much information as possible until it's actually fitting your belief system. So, you know, different ways, different people. Soul Conscious Mover is asking, is unwanted pregnancy a thing in the afterlife, or can we choose to have a child? Again, I would go for it's all about our belief system territory and what we believe in. For example, you might like, okay, I am pregnant, but I don't want a child, and so you can push yourself into like, hey, I have nothing, and sort of like you nullify it, it's not existent anymore. But at the same time, like, oh, okay, and boom, you don't even have to give birth. If that's a thing, you don't even have to. You can simply, like, your visuals and how you create things is all up to you. How creative you are, it's all up to you and all this stuff. But you can choose to have a child, and you can sort of like, nope, I don't want it. So, you know, you have the freedom to play there. Ascension Mystery is asking, why don't the good guys remove the Reptilian and the Orion forces that secretly tyrannize humanity? I think they're like trying and playing, but at the same time, it's kind of like, there's both. Like, you know, like some people and some of the, you know, guys like the way we have, like pretending to be good, but then betraying and like, you know, like playing dirt and all this stuff. They're the ones who are like, okay, just like intergalactic trading and just having close connection with reptilians and other beings. But at the same time, it's more like we're not talking about the whole race. It's specific groups. And while we're talking about, let's say, some humans that might have deals with reptilians and some humans trying to fight reptilians, there will be them fighting specific groups. Not everyone, not the whole race. It's not like, let's destroy all ants in the world because this specific brown ant right here just peed on me and now it burns. You don't destroy everyone. You're like, no, stop it, and you just like slash all this stuff. So like, it's not like going destroying all mosquitoes in the world. It's like trying to just like take care of the ones biting you. So like, same with the good guys. Devil just goes for specific ones. They are fighting. Are we seeing the results? Depends. Is it actually involved with the whole big fight we have right now with like, let's say, Trump and like white dragons trying to push a thing? Maybe. It will show up in like lots of different forms, and you know. We'll see what happens. Okay, so again, like I'm slowly scrolling down looking at the questions. And actually I'm seeing a lot of new faces today. A lot of new people here. I'm Yahoo. He's asking Akvile, why are there different races on Nerf, and are there other planets divided by race like humans on Nerf? There are some. It's not like every place is the same. For example, I know like right here, people might have different skin colors and like oh like like someone's white, someone's black, someone's like yellow and all the stuff. Different colors like oh all of a sudden different races, big thing. In some planets, it's kind of like think of it as an intergalactic, as in different people can come and it's like okay, or just different beings agree like okay I want to live here and they make a like agreement and they start living together and that's a community where like lots of different people can live there and there can be like billions of races in one place and that's the thing. But at the same time, some people will have rules and say like no, you're not welcome here. Go to your own place. We are playing this game specifically and it's only like only for boys, only for girls, or only for like there's no NBA players in a soccer field, right? So same place. I would say the same place, and people have their own agreements. There are plenty of planets where people come together and they have different races and a lot of differences, but there's also plenty of places where they're all the same. So it's like pretty much like a place of agreement or of their own choice, and there's both. Mm. Okay, just looking at what people are talking about, and also, like Black Monk mentioning that people originate from the Anunnaki, that they're all black and all that. And I'm scrolling down just through the comments looking for more questions. TD Edition is asking, do we receive our past life memories after we die, or only this life? It really depends. Like some people, there's a thing. You don't get smarter after you die. It's a fact. But at the same time, after you die, you can choose if you want to access your past life memories. If you want to look at your Akashic records, things you have experienced, things that like have happened, and you can recall it and you can get that information, and yes, you can get smarter. But just after death, like you die and now you're in the astral after death, it doesn't mean that all of a sudden you get everything back. You literally stay with what you left with from Earth. So the more you learn here and you learn like, oh, after I die, I can choose to access my past life memories, I can recall what I have experienced, I can recall my abilities, I can teleport and do all the other stuff. If you are aware and you choose to do so. But if you die and you're like, yeah, now what? And like you don't like even choose to access that information, you didn't even think about it, you're gonna stay with what you have. So yes, you can receive your past life memories after you die if you choose to. And each and every one of you can do that, so be sure to do that. Andromeda has a question. I forgot to ask you about about when she or he is a star people and incarnated in this physical body, but he or she drops dead. What will happen if he or she is a star people? So basically, so-called starseed, star people incarnates here on Earth as a physical body, and then after a while, or maybe whatever, drops dead. A lot has to do with, again, your belief system territory. For example, you might have been a star, like you are a starseed, you are star people, You've been in certain planets. You choose to come here. Boom. You forget everything. You forget your past life experiences. Do you remember your families, who you've been with, what you did? If yes, great. If don't, you're more like, I'm a starseed. At least I've read about it on the internet. And now what? And you don't remember your past necessarily, and you think about what's going to happen next. So with that, a lot has to do with your belief system territory, because you might be a starseed, you might be star people, but then you live here on Earth, and you read false information, or let's say you're living in a way where whatever you're looking at, it's actually suppressing you. It's actually like you're looking at like, oh, I am powerless. Oh, it's only one life. You can't do anything. There is no reincarnation. There is no more life after this. I am stuck. Oh, this is okay. And like literally you can look at tons of things that will make you kind of like helpless, hopeless, you can't do anything, and kind of miserable life, and you're done with it. And once you drop dead, you literally just are stuck in this black space, or you choose to reincarnate, but because you believe in that. Literally at the same time, you can be like, I'm a starseed. I don't remember what I've experienced in my past life. It's all suppressed, but I know that when I die, I can access my past life memories. I can access into what I've experienced. I can go away. I can do whatever you want. So it doesn't matter who you are. You might have had 50 billion lifetimes. You might have been the most amazing superstar of the universe. You might have done tons of shit. No one gives a fuck. It's all about you. And I'm sorry for talking this way. Not really. But it's more like whatever you experienced right now, everything you have learned, the whole programming and everything you've been through will stay with you. Once you drop dead, if you don't remember what you experienced in the past, it does not matter. Because it's all about right now, what you experienced here. Once your physical body drops dead, you stay with the current memory. So, like star people, star seekers, and all the other like goodies of like labels of who we are and how cool we are and like how special we should feel, it does not matter in the end, because even those people can be freaking retards who choose to like, oh, like I'm limited, I can't do stuff, I don't know, like I'm helpless, I need someone to save me, and you call yourself freaking awesome, but at the same time you feel freaking helpless and you don't do anything. So it's all up to you. It doesn't matter who you are. The end goal is you choose to be powerful or not. You choose to, if you want to control your life or not. And that's up to you. Okay, so I'm again slowly scrolling down to see what other questions we have, and we're gonna go from there. Romeo is asking, are stars really spaceships? There are some. There are some, like, like for example, like some people look at the planets and actually is that's a spaceship. Stars are portals and all this stuff. Like, think of like hologram and how you can create a perfect image and all this stuff, or like even deep fake. And this is just today's today's technology and all this stuff. But think of it like 5 million or billions years advanced with so much technology that like they can do so much stuff. With people who have IQ of like 300, 900 or like over 9,000 and all this stuff. A lot of variations, but a lot of people can actually, have different thoughts, and at the same time like, hey, they create this way, this is their creation, and like whether it is actually a spaceship or their portal or whatever, they can put like look over it and it's kind of like, oh, it looks like a sun, like provides the heat and all this stuff, but you get close and it's actually a whole different thing. So a lot of variations. It does not mean that every single thing out there is like a spaceship or a portal. There's like a lot of variety, but some of them are like sort of like just looking like it while it's actually the whole different thing. Jeremy Scott is saying that he has sent me emails about looking at the past lives but hasn't heard back. Jeremy, could you please send me an email today? Because, like, there's a lot of... Oh, thank you. I got it. I got it. Like, I just opened my emails and I got it from you. So I'll definitely look into if I got our emails. Okay. Yeah. Gotcha. I'll get back to you ASAP. Mind reader you. Ascension Mystery is saying, can you imagine the recreation of the mainstream religions when the Cabal announces the existence of various alien races? That would be so good. Like, I'm real looking forward to it. Like, they show up themselves. It's up to people to believe it or not, and they're living among us already. But the majority is sort of like keeping it like in the dark. It's more like, yeah, they don't exist out there. You're just making shit up and all this stuff. And it's not. And it's like it's really hard for some people to reveal it, to talk about it, sort of disclose it, and say like, hey, it's actually they're out there, they're real. I want to believe, right? So with all these people, like you'd have to change the physics. You'd have to sort of like, okay, no more nuclear factors or gas and all this stuff because we have perpetual motion machines and all the other things where infinite energy, we can power up our whole like stuff. And like it's just like the governments are like trying to tax people, which is like taxation is theft and all this stuff. There's so much things that have to be redone, and sort of it's just like they have a perfect way to control the system right now, and changing things would sort of shake things up a lot. So, like they're definitely trying to hold back as much as possible, in my opinion with that. But yeah. What do alien thinks about people praying to Jesus? It's more like I've met a lot of like beings out there who are like, if they knew who Jesus is, they would not do that. There's a lot of like beings out there like pretending to be the one and all this stuff. It's Jean is asking, am I reading the Ascension glossary? No, but you can send me a link. I'd be down for finding some more information. I'll actually Google it up myself just in case. Ascension glossary. Oh, there it is. Okay, I got it. No, I have not read it, but I can definitely look it up. I'm always saying, Akvile, are Archons a race or species or of their own or just individual beings and entities? I would say there's both. It's kind of like think of a consciousness, yourself, and, in a video game, you might create yourself as a hero, but you also sometimes have an ability to create the enemy of how they look or like just like different appearances. And same way some people are drawing and creating like some beings or like just like 3D modeling and all this stuff. You have the ability to create something. And same way consciousness can literally create reptilians, consciousness can create the archons and demiurges and all this stuff, and however you name it, it's a thing. So I would say it's a creation of our own, like looking at the long term, and eventually like everything is our creation. So depends how you look at it. Like there's a lot of takes on it, and just take responsibility. Like, oh, I fucked up, I trapped myself in here, I have to get out now and sort of remove all this stuff. Like, well, it depends. Okay, so like I'm just looking at a lot of people chatting it up about the aliens and the blackouts and the other thingies. So I think I caught up finally with the recent messages. And hey, people, it's actually fun tuning in. It's actually fun tuning in and talking to you all and answering questions. And hopefully, I'm giving you somewhat of the value and all the stuff. I guess like the thing I can mention, the recent thing I'm doing is like like sessions on myself, and the main thing is like if any of you are working on yourself, to like trying to fix your life and like get better, and what kind of techniques to try out, like where it is removing entities, where it is getting rid of the agreements, where it is the meditation, whatever you're doing. I guess like some of you notice that like sometimes you're working really hard to get what you want, but at the same time you sort of get slapped in the face, or you fall, or like just stuff happens, and one day is a good day where you feel like really productive, like you've done something, like finally you have moved forward, and then you sort of like feel like someone slapped you in the face and everything falls apart, and you just go in these days where you cry, you feel helpless, or like something else happens. It's just a thing, and sort of like I'm mostly like this sort of this never-ending warfare, like spiritually, like people or like beings out there keep attacking us because like you're freaking powerful, you can do a lot, and the thing is, your visualization, your imagination, your thoughts, if you have control over it and you focus where you want to create things, what you want to do with it, you're quite dangerous, because that like visual skills, like I'm trying to work on myself in a way where I try to block out my ability to get a body in visuals. I'm trying to shut it all off to be in a place of some people, like people who really have no visuals, who like have it all blocked out. I try to get to this place where I really shut everything in the box and sort of plug out and sort of like, okay, now I'm in this place of pitch darkness, I can't see anything, I can't get out of body, and I get myself that place. And with all that, I'm more like connecting into like, okay, I've messed myself up, now what? And even then, when it seems like I can't visualize anything, I can't see anything, it's all like I tune it all out, that's cool. And then I'm like, okay, with all that, I can't see anything, I can't get out of body, I get no visuals, nothing. I try to like, okay, I don't even have to visualize, it's just my thoughts. And I would basically think, like, let's say there are some entities in my space that are blocking the visuals. Entities in my space are like, let's say, not even entities. Entities are like archons, demiurges, demons, anything, like any factions. My own beliefs, my own power, like my own personality, like I believe that I can't have anything, I can't see anything. Sort of like, it's just that. And I go with naming anything that seems to be blocking me, and I remove that, and it opens up again, and I'm like, oh, I can see again, I can get out of the body, I can get the visuals. So like our thoughts are freaking powerful, we can do so much with it. And if you can control what you think about, if you can direct your attention and do awesome things with it, you can get like really good results. So literally, if you are having some harder days where like you feel like you're being messed with, you feel like you're being manipulated, like you are trying to reach your goal but nothing's happening, your thoughts are powerful, and literally naming some of the blockages and what you're experiencing it, and sort of thinking about it like leaving your space, it is a big tool you have. So I don't know, like this is something to try out. You don't have to see things, but you can simply think about that stuff leaving your space, where it is the limiting belief, where it is the personality, whether it is someone else. Literally, you can get through the fit and you will change. So I would say, like, we're freaking powerful. Even if you can't visualize, even if you can't see stuff, even if you can't get out of body and all this stuff, you can do so much. So, hey, you people are freaking powerful. Michael Scott is saying, girl, you're thicker than a bowl of oatmeal. Thank you so much. I love oatmeal. With milk and honey, I love it. Thank you, buddy. Is that how you handle like haters and people who are hurt and miserable in life? That they spend their precious time trying to mess with people? Like, whoa, thanks for wasting your time on that. Miserable. Yeah. Let's see what other people are saying. I'm Yahweh is asking, Akvile, other than suicide and doing a walkout, can I just leave the physical body? If so, what will happen to the body if the consciousness just leaves and never comes back? I think I've mentioned that in some other streams, but basically you can literally get out of body and never come back. You don't need to get the walk-in who's gonna sort of take control of your body, but literally you get out, you never come back, and the physical body just drops dead and it's out. So, hey, you gotta wait for it. If you can do it, great. If you can't, practice it. But it's not an easy task. It's not an easy task. Oh, Darius is having a really good thing. Darius saying, I updated my protection and saving entities from their masters, so I added that if anyone gets close to me with bad intention, a book appears in front of them, and there's information about a chance to live peacefully in my created world, and there I'm living without any distractions. Wow, that's really good, Darius. That's really good. It's like, I love it. It's very creative. It's very creative, but this way, like literally, you can sort of teach other beings, sort of just like, oh, what's this? And all of a sudden, you get them interested. So all of a sudden, their attention, instead of messing with you, they already have something else to do, and by that, like they might wake up, learn, and all of a sudden get more awareness and leave and live better. So, wow, thank you for sharing that. It's really good. I like that. And with that, I guess like it's actually a good note to wrap the stream with. I think like it's a lot of good questions on the stuff, but at the same time, it's 10 p.m. and I would like to do more sessions and get back to people that have wrote to me on emails and all this stuff. I have Kimberly McGeorge. She's a great person. I have a session to give to her. There's also deciphering my experience. We're gonna connect online and all this stuff. That's cool. So yeah, I'm gonna write back to a lot of people and just try to catch up with everyone. But anyway, again, everyone, thank you for being here, for tuning in, for watching my videos, for talking, and just sticking out. Like it's an awesome community. I love being here with you, and I'm glad if I can give you anything of value. So, that being said, I hope you take care of yourself and have a nice day, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.